Hello friends, welcome to this video and this tutorial series of how to integrate Firebase Realtime Database in your Android application. So in this video, we'll be seeing how to edit or update your data with the help of Firebase DB. So let's get started. So here I am in a project which we are building throughout this tutorial series. If hope you are following this tutorial series, hope you have watched the previous videos as well. If not, then you can just clone this repository from the Git link below and continue with this. So in the last video we have performed the retrieve operation, like we have see how to retrieve the data and show it in the recycler view. So we are able to see the data in the recycler view. So in this video what we need to do, we want to achieve the update operation. So for that I am just opening this user layout. Here we'll add one edit button like pen like icon. I have already added the edit icon like this, so we'll use this icon. When user clicks on this one, then we'll show one dialog which contains both email and username and one submit button, and it will be pre-filled according to which edit option we have selected for the respective user, and then we can edit the data and we can submit, and the data will be updated in the recycler view and as well as the Firebase DB also. So that's what we will be doing in this video. So let's first add this pin icon. We'll take one image view for that. Wrap content for both width and height. Let's give it an ID, button, edit. Sorry, no. Yes, we can give button edit. Fine. Then let's constraint it to top. Constraint top to bottom. Sorry. Yes. Top to top of this name, because we want this to appear in the between of this whole cell, and constraint bottom to bottom of this email, so it will come in a middle of both these. Here I'll just give it a constraint end to end of parent, and I'll give an src. So src will be edit icon. So you can see here edit icon is appearing here. Let us give some margin end here, 8 dp. Okay, now let us go to the adapter, because this is the layout and we need to take handling of this button from the adapter itself. So how we can do that? We need to do it inside on bind beholder. So let us do one thing. Here we can access binding dot button edit dot set on click listener on this. So on the clicking on this one, we want to open a dialog, but that dialog we need to create in a custom way. We'll be using an alert dialog, and inside that we will fetch the UI of the custom dialog. So we need to create a custom dialog for that. Let us right click on the layout, new dialog for user edit dialog. Okay, so it will be very similar to the one which you have created in a main activity. So I'll just directly pick these 3 layouts from this and we'll paste it here, the edit dialog. Fine. So let me import the app. Okay, fine. In place of add user, I'll make submit. Now let's go to user adapter. Now our layout is ready. Okay, I'll change this IDs a bit more. Et edit name and et edit email. Okay, so I need to make a change here to the constraint as well. Okay, these are just the layout things. In the adapter, in the on bind view holder, we have already mentioned the unclick listener on this button. So here we'll first create one variable dialog equal to, this will inflate the dialog. It is layout inflated dot from we need a context here. So we don't have context here, so what we can do, we can declare a late variable here named as context. This context is from Android. Yes, content, and we need to initialize it here because this is the onCreate view holder. So we can just use context equal to parent dot context. So we get a reference of context here, not from context, and dot inflate will pass this layout r dot layout dot which we have just created, that is user edit dialog, and for the root we can pass null. Okay, now we'll create a second variable, that is alert dialog. This will be an actual alert dialog, or we can also name it as a edit dialog. Alert dialog dot builder, this also asks for context and we can provide that, that's fine, and dot create. So this is no longer a builder, but this is a alert dialog now after we call a create function on the builder. Now through the dialog we can access the edit and email fields and button as well. So let's do that. Val edit equal to dialog dot find view by id, it will be an edit text r dot id dot et edit name, sorry, not edit name. I duplicate this to get an reference to the email field which we have declared here in the this email field in this user edit dialog, because the dialog which will open after editing, we want to get a reference of that field, that edit text. So that's why we are doing this. Now et edit email. Okay, fine. So don't get confused for these red lines. These red lines do appear generally and they will be vanished once you write further code. And we can also get a reference. Okay, fine. So what thing we first want to do is we want these both fields come as a pre-field, because when user is at this, when user is seeing the record and user is clicking on this edit button, so after clicking on this edit button, our alert dialog will be opened, and in that it will have a same UI like that. It will have this name, email and submit button. So submit button will come, it has no issues, but the edit text will come as empty. But we don't want to come at them as an empty. Instead we want them to pre-fill the data for the respective user on which we want to edit the data. So that's why we need to explicitly set them. How we can do that? We can just write name dot set text, and here we can just pass that character sequence, and we already have a get item here, so we can just write, we can get a reference of the user here, val user object, and get item, we have a respective position for that. Yes, instead we can just pass a user here as well, that will that means the same thing, and we can get this reference to this user dot name. We can duplicate this and we can get user dot email. So both email and name and email will contain a pre-filled text. We can just write, we can also get a reference of the button, val submit button, we can write submit button equal to, again find view by id, sorry, dialog dot find view by id. It is a button, and at r dot id dot button edit is the same name we have given. Okay, we didn't change the id for this one. So button submit, button edit submit, button edit submit. Okay, Now we can just write an on-click listener on this, set an on-click listener on this one. You can remove this. Now here we need to perform an operation when like take the updated values and then make a call to DB and ask it to please update our values with the newer ones. So for that, what we need, any type of operation if we want to perform in a Firebase DB, we need a database reference. As we have seen in the earlier videos, if you can see in the main activity, this is the database reference instance we have created. It is used to fetch the values, it is used to write a new values as well, but that reference is in here main activity. So how we can get it in the user adapter? We can just pass it simply database reference, and we can press alt enter here to add a parameter constructor to this user adapter. So you can just click on refactor, and you can see this this ID has already added this reference in the adapter. So we can just write it as a val so that we should be able to use it in our code further. I'll again use database reference dot. Now which method we have for the update task? We have the update children, but first we need to take a reference of the children. Database reference dot child. For which child we need to update? We need to tell it to Firebase, right? So that's why it is asking for the path for which child you want to perform edit operation. So here we need a path, that is a unique ID. So from where we can get the unique ID? We have already saved the unique ID in the user object as an ID. So we can just refer it as a user dot ID, and it is a string value, and it also asks for a string value. Now we can call a update function here, update children. And what we need to pass here? We need to pass a map. We can directly pass an updated object here, because what will happen if we directly passed and here passed an updated children here with the help of set value. This also, there is also a method like a set value, but we are not using this, because what it will do, it will directly overwrite all the things. Like if you have updated two fields, then it will update only the two fields. And if you still have other fields, like let's say we have name, we have here name and email fields, but if we have age as a third field, and uh, we set a value on the same node as with this updated, which don't have an age, then age will be deleted. So in order to avoid this, we are just using this update children, but it requires a map. So no problem, we can directly create a map. That is not an issue. So val user map equal to map of. So it is just a string to any type of map. So we'll write a name. So make sure that this keys matches with your Firebase. This keys should match. This email and name, this should match. So name to the updated value of the name. That is, which is the updated value of name? This name dot text. Okay, and email to email dot text. So this name is getting a reference from our edit text field from our dialog, and whatever the text is entered here, it will be get referenced, and it will map to this name and email respectively. Now we can pass this user map here, and Firebase will update our entry. Now we can call add on success and failure listeners here, and as usual we'll just write a toast message here. We can get a context here, user updated successfully, and we'll also call and add a failure listener. We'll again copy the same toast. We'll just change the message to failed to update user. Okay, now we have this unused variable edit dialog, but we need to make use of this one. So after setting the text, we are pre-filling the text fields, we'll write edit dialog dot show, and once we click on this update operation, we want it to hide, so we can just write edit dialog dot sorry something is going dismiss. Yes, edit dialog dot dismiss. So that's fine, that's the only thing we need to do for the edit operation. So now let's run our application and see how it works. Yes, my application is now running, and let me just try clicking on this button. Okay, but something is not happening. I'm clicking but dialog is not showing. Let me check what is going on. Okay, I also need to set this view, this dialog, and before calling this create, I need to call a set view and need to pass this dialog. Yes, create dialog, and here after doing all these things, we need edit dialog dot show here. Yes, and also when the API call gets succeeded, I also want to hide this dialog. So I'll just write edit dialog dot dismiss here. Same for on failure listener as well. Yes, now let's rerun our application. Yes, we got the list. I just click, and yes, now we are able to see the dialog. And here in place of test2, I'll just put test3 in both name and email, and I'll just click on submit. Okay, for some reason it crashed. Let me check what exception we got. Serializing array is not supported, please use list instead. Okay, and where the exception came, you have got 50. Let me check. Okay, we need to convert it to the toString, because this is not a string. We need to convert it to toString. Yes, now let me rerun the application. I'll just click on this one again, change it to test3, and I'll click on submit, and now we see the message user updated successfully. And let's open the Firebase portal as well. You will be able to see the details are updated. This was a test2 and test3. So let us see side by side. Let me pop this first, pop out this simulator first. Okay, and yes, now I'll change the entry here itself in the real-time DB, and you will be able to see it in the real time. So in the first, okay, I'll just shuffle these two, that you should be able to see the both of these. Okay, so now I'll just again say this is a test3 currently, and we'll make it as a test2 and a test2. I just click on submit, and in the real time it has been updated as a test2 and test2 at example.com. So this is how you can update your data in the real time using the Firebase DB from your Android application.